The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. When I was a baby, my family was murdered on a cold and dreary night by a man named Jack. He failed to finish the job as I managed to climb out of my crib, crawl out of my house, and head for the graveyard up the street. The souls in the graveyard agreed to look after me and gave me the freedom of the graveyard, having Mr. and Mrs. Owens as my new parents and Silas as my guardian. By the time I was 5 years old, I knew my way around the graveyard and met a girl my age named Scarlett. After becoming friends, she moved away with her parents to Ireland. I felt so alone, especially when Silas left to find me necessities like food and clothing. One time, he had a lady named Miss Pesque look after me, and she was horrible. She'd make me learn the most ridiculous things, and she fed me the nastiest of foods. So I ran away with the gals, which was a dangerous mistake, and realized this when it was too late. They wouldn't let me leave, and said they were going to take my human life away from me and change my entire identity. The night gaunts and Miss Pesque had to save me, and not a moment too soon. Luckily, I remembered how Miss Pesque had taught me to call for the night gaunts if I were ever in trouble. Not long after, I met a witch in the graveyard who was sadly without a headstone due to false accusations during her lifetime. Because she was so nice to me, I took a brooch I found into town to try and sell it for headstone money. This quickly turned into a bad idea. It brought the man named Jack closer in finding me. Thankfully, the witch saved my life from that incident in town, as she helped me fade out of sight and back into the graveyard. To learn more about how to protect myself, Silas let me go to a real-life school where I attracted unwanted attention from two bullies. I needed to keep a low profile because the man named Jack was still out to kill me. After my failed attempt of school, Silas left me in the graveyard for months. It was good timing that Scarlett came back into town during this time. Even after 10 years had gone by, she still remembered who I was. She'd come to the graveyard and hang out with me, and then would be taken home by a nice man named Mr. Frost. Her mom wanted to meet him, so she invited him over for dinner, where he had brought them flowers and chocolate as his way of saying thank you. She and her mom had made friends with this man and trusted him dearly. But it turns out that Mr. Frost was the man named Jack in disguise. I used my fading ability and the advantage of my graveyard to win the war between Jack and myself once and for all. A big help came from the Slayer, a monster figure from down under the graveyard, who wrapped up Jack after he declared that he was its master. Silas returned from his absence and informed that he left because he and Miss Pesque were fighting the others who were associated with Jack. Now that I am finally of age and out of harm's way, I am now allowed to live outside in the real world with other live people. So I walked out of the graveyard, leaving my childhood behind, as I was scared and excited about my future.